It's mid-July and welcome to the Great British Mickey Waffle, the podcast where we bring you the latest hints, tips and tricks to make your next visit to Walt Disney World the most magical yet. I'm John, and with me is Claire. Hi, Claire.
Hey, John. Are you okay?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm doing better than the Ashes and the England.
He's on everyone.
That's another thing. Yeah.
Let's not talk about the cricket. Let's move on.
I know. Best not to. It's a very British thing, isn't it? You know, it's that whole thing. We either talk about weather, cricket, or both.
Or queuing. That's the other thing.
Oh, queuing. That's it. Yeah.
This time of year, we also talk about Wimbledon.
Oh, that's definitely.
Yes, next week,
That's
isn't it?
That's another one.
That's time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's past. It's past, Ben. You're all right.
All the stuff.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. There you go. That's it. Anyway, together, we are going to show you just how much this show can assist in planning brand new experience to go to Walt Disney World. If it's your first trip or your 101st trip, there's still new things to explore. So who better to actually share and show us a premium example of this, of just how much listening to our show and the podcast on our Wednesdays on YouTube can actually end up costing you a few quid.
Oh, that's definitely
our very own Ben and Becca, because you're just back from Florida. And I've got to say a big thank you, because you gave up so much of your holiday doing the live show from Animal Kingdom Lodge. And also, we just finished that. Was it the Wednesday, a couple of Wednesdays ago? And we did all the stuff that you bought. And I've got to say,
yes.
I'm trying to find room to put it now. I'm not sure where it's all going to go, but we'll sort that.
I'm dreading how much it cost with excess baggage. If that was us as a family going, it'd probably be at least 6 or 7 suitcases if we all bought the same amount of stuff that you guys did. So.
Well, there is a trick to it, and all I can say is book premium. Once you've added buying those extra cases to go from economy going up, actually premium isn't that far away.
And take a holder as your hand luggage.
Yes, make sure you use the max of your hand luggage, because not everyone knows that it depends on what airline you go with. You can take a personal bag, which is like a small handbag or a small rucksack, and your cabin bag.
You can.
So
Fill that up with stuff as well.
Right.
Dirty clothes, shoes. One of ours was filled with shoes.
Yeah.
I've now got visions of Ben getting on the plane with
a handbag. Yeah, me too.
I'm just carrying Becca's Dinian
Man bag. He's wearing the man bag.
I'm not letting you carry my Dinian bags.
We'll have to come to that later, or you'll have to make sure you check out the show where we did the haul, because there's at least one bag, maybe 2, maybe more. You just have to go head over and see what we bought.
Yeah. But I'm going to be the first to say, welcome home. I bet it feels absolutely wonderful to be back in the UK and not in Florida. Not.
No. But I can say this week we've had some incredible weather. This time that since we're back on holiday, I don't know what's happened. We've just brought some of the sun back from Orlando.
Thank goodness.
So summer has started now in the UK.
Hopefully it sticks around a little while.
Yeah.
I must admit, it'll take a while before we become known as the Sunshine Nation. It doesn't have the same ring as Sunshine State, does it? You know?
No.
Yeah. And also,
grey and drizzly place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're normally devoid of any sort of sunshine and brightness.
It's a bit damp. I think Great Britain. Yeah. It's a bit grey and damp.
I know.
It's slightly moist.
Slightly moist. No.
Oh, this is how it's going to be tonight, isn't it? I can tell. No one to keep us in check tonight.
We got into trouble last time we went down that route. That's it.
I know. You've got there early. Oh dear.
I know.
We're only literally minutes into the show.
Reel it back in, John. That's it. You know, let's get a handle on things. So Ben and Becca, right? We're going to start. Well, let's start talking about the fact that, right, you flew with Virgin.
Yep.
You went premium.
We went upper
You went
class.
direct.
Upper class on the way out, premium on the way back.
Yeah.
We did upgrade using our points though for the upper class portion.
Good move.
We originally booked the trip premium, and what we did was use the points that we had to upgrade from premium to upper on the way out. And on the way back, we looked at it, and there wasn't any availability, so we just stuck with premium. Just meant we still could have 2 bags on the way back.
Did you just wave to me at the back of the plane? Like, there was your guys, and John will be back there. Like,
it's like right at the back. But like, there's 2 seats that are wedged right at the back.
Yeah, that's me.
On the tail.
Sort of clinging on for dear life.
Yeah.
Right. There's a song called, was it Welcome to the Cheap Seats by the Wonder Stuff?
Oh, that's a great song.
Yeah, but that's me. Welcome to the Cheap Seats. There you go. Anyway, accommodation. I think we'll start there because you went with a plan.
Yep.
You stayed in some amazing places. I'm not going to spoil it for everybody. I'm going to let you guys just take us through the entire experience of the absolute magnificence of places. And actually, if they weren't very good, let's hear that as well.
Yeah.
Because let's not sugarcoat it. Let's have our listeners get the nitty gritty.
We'll be honest. We'll be completely honest for this trip. So,
right, accommodation. Yeah. Come on, tell us all about it.
15 nights we stayed at Walt Disney World. So our first hotel, which was, I'm having to think about this.
It was the Riviera.
For 2 nights
in a tower studio room.
The smallest room I think you can get on Walt Disney World property.
So is that the one where the bed is basically you fold it down?
It's a Murphy bed type, but it's a bit deeper than a Murphy bed sort of mattress.
Okay.
So it folds out.
Folds into the wall.
But
it's a Z bed, John.
Yeah.
That's what it makes it.
Do you know what?
But nicer.
The friends are coming. Get the Z bed out.
Original plans, we were going to book 1 night there, but we went for 2. But originally it was supposed to be in Pop Century. And then we looked, actually, we've got the points to use. So we thought we'd like to be on the Skyliner, because our tradition of our first... I like to be on the Skyliner. But our first park is usually Hollywood Studios. It's just always been something that we've always done since our first trip 10 years ago. So it would either could be Pop, or we had the points, so we used Tower Studio, which is at Riviera, which we've always wanted to stay. Every trip before, it's always been cancelled.
We tried to book Riviera about 3 times previous to this.
Yeah.
So we were a bit worried we'd get cancelled accidentally last minute.
Yeah. So cost-wise, is it on a par with Pop? That particular standard room?
For worth of points, it's probably a little bit more. We worked out how much we could rent the points out for. And pay for Pop, but actually it worked out better for us to use our points. So you probably would have spent probably made $50 more than what it would have cost us for Pop over those 2 nights.
All right.
So I'd rather spend $50 more on being a deluxe resort and a resort that we wanted to try for a while than at Pop. There's nothing wrong with Pop.
Is half the size.
Yeah, but the thing is, we were only there.
There's 2 of us.
2 nights.
Wow.
There's 2 of us, and the one thing that people don't realise about the Riviera Tower Studio is the bathroom is huge. There was enough room for all of our cases, for everything, and so much more room you could swing a cat.
I was going to say to use
in the bathroom.
Swing a cat in the bathroom.
I'm not repeating this. Did they get it wrong way round when they decorated it?
Because I swear the bathroom is bigger than the actual room.
I think on square foot, it's exactly the same.
The bathroom's huge.
That's weird.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
If you suffer from claustrophobia, you just go and sleep in the bath.
What a strange thing to do.
I'm just going to, oh dear. The things that come into my head that are completely inappropriate. But yeah.
What we will do is, we do have a few room tour videos and pictures, so they will be heading up on our YouTube channel over the next few weeks as well. So if it doesn't make sense what we're talking about tonight, you'll be able to see
But that'd be so
what
cool
it
because
is.
that'll go alongside
Yeah,
this particular podcast. That'd be really useful, that, Ben, because actually I know you've done some of these before, and actually it's absolutely amazing because what it does do is it gives a real perspective of what type of room is available in different places. And I've got to admit, I'm with you. I think Riviera is a place that certainly just stands out as one of the places. Even if it's just for 2 nights, it would be a wonderful place to stay.
Yeah.
It's
It's
really, really gorgeous. It's very relaxing
Yeah.
as well.
It's made us want to book a week there next time, or maybe longer. It's
in a
it's been one-
bathroom.
You know what? If I'm in Disney property, I'm happy.
I mean, I'd stay in the Tower Studio again, no
Yeah.
hesitation. So
Yeah, I think we've stayed at different size rooms, and for us that's fine, especially if you're in the park all day. You just want to go back to your room, sleep, and especially with how quick it is to get on the Skylines at Epcot and Hollywood Studios. I know that is a downside to some people who are afraid of heights and don't like the Skyliner, but it's one of those things you weigh up.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's a lot of all the resorts we'll talk about tonight. We did pay with our DVC points with our membership, but you can stay there. You can book directly through Disney on rack rate, or you can rent points from a member if they're deciding not to use them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So just because we're talking about DVC resorts doesn't mean that you can't one day go and experience these resorts or rooms for yourself.
That's great advice, I must admit, because I think a lot of people feel that way, especially when it's DVC that's mentioned, and everyone thinks, "Oh, well, I can't go there," but actually you can. And
Yeah.
And if you want
Okay.
to just have a look at what the rooms are like, you can go to any of the DVC resorts, speak to one of the DVC cast members, and they'll give you a free room tour.
Yep. We were lucky when we were
room
there
tours.
in December. We popped into Riviera after a busy day at Hollywood Studios, and they said, "Do you fancy a free room
Yeah,
tour?"
we just got
and
to-
it's like we got talking to, just said we were DVC already, but they were just like, "Do you want to see some of the rooms?" And we went, "Yeah, we will." And we just saw them from the Tower Studio, which made sense because we were staying there this trip. So it was nice to see what the room size was like, not realising that it was actually bigger than what we thought it was going to be. Because I've heard it's when you compare it to a normal size room, yes, it's smaller, but if there's only one or two of you, it's fine. Yeah. So
where'd you go next? Where'd you go next? That's it.
My bucket
Your
list.
bucket list, one of your bucket list
hotel.
items.
Ever since we bought into Disney Vacation Club 2016, I think it was, I've always wanted to stay at the Grand Floridian.
Yep.
So we did.
7 nights.
Oh.
7 nights Grand Floridian.
Oh, wow.
In one of their new
Refurbished.
Is that in the garden wing?
No, it's in the the big Pine Key. So you've got the.
Where's that in relation to the lobby? So orientate me. If I'm stood in the lobby,
Okay,
to the
still in
right.
lobby.
Do you know where Grand Floridian Cafe is?
As you head out
As you head out
towards
towards there.
at the back.
At the back.
by
Yeah.
1900 Park Fair.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You go out
Out those
there.
double doors, and it's
Okay.
pretty much
There's
just
a pool straight ahead of you as you walk out those doors, and we're building on the right.
Okay, so it's not the DVC.
It's not the old
Building.
DVC one. No,
That's what I was thinking.
Mhm.
Is it in the old
Yeah.
DVC
Yeah.
on the right hand side? You
Oh,
know,
wow.
no, it's not the
Chapel.
DVC Villas one. It's the new
Okay.
one that
the
they've
new
converted to
yeah,
DVC.
new resort ones.
How's
So,
that?
Really
Room
nice.
itself was gorgeous.
It's slightly different to the ones in the DVC building, as you don't get a full kitchenette. You get the basics of, okay, I've got a Keurig, I've got a coffee machine and a chiller fridge, but I don't have the kitchenette. I don't have like the sink and all the other amenities. But actually for us, we didn't need it. We don't usually do. It's just having the fridge and a coffee machine. And what I did like was that we actually had proper cups and plates and cutlery, where normally in a studio, you just get the plastic stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's no dishwasher. But being at the Grand, you have the proper mugs, and you also have robes in the room as well. So
That's
you definitely
good.
know it's luxury, feels luxury.
Apart from the fact that they were all extra large sizing, and
Yeah.
you're wrapping around
Claire.
stuff about 3 times.
Claire, quick question. Did anyone check the bags? Maybe that's what all the haul was. It was all the robes and the slippers and all that you stole.
You can buy
robes.
those robes in the. I've seen those robes in the shop, and I know someone who's got one of those robes, and
Wow.
they're like
For $90.
I'm
So
sure
extortionate.
$99 or something.
About
Yeah.
$90 or $100,
Yeah.
I think.
But I know
Yeah,
someone
goodness.
who's got one of those robes who wears it almost every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not.
That's-
They used to just be at the Grand, but now we've seen them at Animal Kingdom Lodge.
They've got them at
I
Wilderness
think
Lodge as well.
Wilderness Lodge. They
Yeah.
seem to have
Beach Club. I
expanded.
think they've gone for the deluxe resorts now. They're sort
Yeah.
of generally.
Yeah.
It used to
They're
be
very
just like,
lovely.
Yeah.
But
Well, I will say the ones in the gift shops are slightly different to the ones that they had in the rooms.
Yes.
The ones in the gift shops are nicer.
yeah, they're slightly heavier weight and they've got cotton on the outside rather than being toweling.
Yeah.
They're very nice, but
Yeah.
they're very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
We
that's to stop you from stealing them from the room.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
obviously-
They're not as nice.
Which
It's like-
obviously is a bad thing.
Yeah.
Anyone listening to
Don't
this,
do that.
don't do
Don't
it
do that.
because they
I'll say something.
will charge you. Don't worry, they'll find out and
Yeah.
they'll charge you. Don't.
They'll find you and
Probably
they'll
more
charge you.
expensive
Yeah.
than the $99 pack.
I'm certain it would be, yeah.
Getting the,
Probably 3 times the
Yeah.
price just to
Yeah.
prevent people from doing
Although I
it.
So-
don't want to bring one of the bed
The
Runner.
roof,
run at the time, yeah.
The new theming to the rooms at Grand Floridian really, really good, because we've seen some reviews over the years where it's felt a bit tired and a bit dated.
Mhm.
And I know some of the resort is due a refurb and is currently undergoing a refurb.
Currently undergoing
And
a
a
refurb.
refurb. But
That,
the room that we stayed in was incredible. The Mary Poppins theme.
That's
I
all
will-
newly refurbed, the one you
Yes.
stayed in. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
They've also refurbed the DVC rooms, but not to the same level. So it's more of a soft refurb where
Okay.
the rooms that were in that building were previous regular hotel rooms.
Okay.
So,
So how was it being on the resort while they were doing all that work?
we were there 3 nights
Before-
before anything happened.
Okay.
So
It was
we,
fine for 3 nights.
fine for 3 nights. Even after the first day, we knew something was going on, and we could tell on that Monday. It have to be. It was surprising because we were in the lobby on the Sunday night. You couldn't tell anything was going to happen the following day. Nothing. You couldn't tell anything. On the Monday morning, we walked into the lobby. Oh, there's a wall, and it was
Yeah.
like, oh, that wasn't there,
It was-
and just a third of the lobby had been taken over.
There
Wow.
was a very big lack
Ooh.
of communication
And
about the fact that they were going to be starting
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
refurb. for
So which bit of the lobby had they cut off?
the bit right as you walk
as you
in
walk in?
the front. So
Oh my goodness.
anyone
Yeah.
that's coming in,
From the second floor, it looks like they're replacing the flooring.
Okay.
Right.
it, from what we understand, there hasn't been a refurb in that lobby since it opened in the 80s.
Wow.
So,
So-
They kept it looking pretty good then.
So when
Yeah,
we
it
were,
was
when we were
pristine, wasn't it?
after our few issues that developed later that week, when we were talking to cast members on the front desk, they were saying there was so much mold, there was so much stuff in the carpet and stuff that needed doing that if they didn't do it and there was a health inspection, they would be shut down. There was
Yeah.
stuff that had to be done,
Oh dear, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was one of those things we know. And our problem
get that.
wasn't with the construction, because we've been busy so many times.
Mm.
We know construction's done for a reason. It's all about it's just unfortunate things happen. I think Disney's probably changed the way they've done things previously before, where it used to be like, okay, you booked now, we let you know before, we let you know what the plan is. Now it's
Yeah.
more of, okay, they decided what it is. This was supposed to have happened last year, and it's been pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and then finally it's got to the point where the budget is finally hit for them to go and do it. So they do it straight away before the budget gets taken for something else.
Yeah.
That, I think, is the way they're working. But the problem with that is that the guests then aren't told about it.
Okay.
which is silly because they have an app.
Yep.
Which they could quite easily send you a notification on, just to say we're going to be starting
Because I think a lot of
at
our,
the hotel you're staying at on such and such a date.
I think
Send an email. They could phone the rooms.
what of our frustration was more on the Friday after we checked in, and when we spoke to the manager, it was like we were checked in on a Friday. We were told at the time there was an issue with our original room that we requested, and it wouldn't have been available. So we then they got us another room, but in that time they could have told us at that point that we could have moved
Yeah.
resorts. There could have been
They could have
another.
told us
They
at
could
any
told us.
point.
They could told us that construction was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think there was a lot of frustration from cast members that were going like, we understand what's going on. We don't know why you haven't been told. There was just that chain of command, just something wasn't going right.
From what I understand, they weren't telling anybody because front desk were getting a lot of complaints about it.
I'm not surprised. But if you were told beforehand, or even while you were there, because we were in the park several times over our 2-week trip, and how many times a ride went down and it popped up on the app saying this ride is down for the rest of the day. Why couldn't they have done that with the hotel?
With the hotel.
But I have to admit, when we spoke to the front desk, they were incredible.
They were incredible.
We had
right, and that's what I was going to ask you, because actually when things do go wrong,
because for us it didn't go wrong, annoyingly, until it was our day of our wedding anniversary, where it felt like the rest of the resort, we saw what was happening, where walls were going up and construction, but it didn't hit us until the morning of our anniversary that the construction was very close to our building. It was in the building, it was just on the lobby across, so we could sit out, but we couldn't hear anything apart from construction noise. That was the only time it felt like it encroached and caused issue, and that's when I escalated it further. And
they dealt with it, and that's what I'm trying to say, Ben. Because actually, if anyone's listening to this, and again, it's a very British thing to do. Yeah. It's just say, "Oh, maybe we've just got unlucky and this and that," but actually, it's not. It's your dream holiday, and especially being in the Grand Floridian. Yeah. I must say that I could just imagine how I would feel. Yeah. In a similar situation, I wouldn't be kind of quite as calm and relaxed talking about it.
We've had a few weeks to get over it.
Even after the event, I'm still hung up about an occurrence in Port Orleans that happened. I think it was 2015. I still have a rant about it.
Got over it.
Yeah,
it's interesting because every cast member we spoke to afterwards was shocked that we weren't offered a room at the Polynesian. They knew, or that, because the thing is, they knew that when we were checking in, that we had anniversary written down. There was all of this stuff that was written on it, and no one actually thought, we know this construction is going to happen in a week or in 3 days. It's like, okay, there's going to be something that they should have done.
I mean, I wouldn't have minded.
Would you have gone to the poly though? And not stayed at the ground floor, and that's the thing that even in my mind.
In my mind, I probably would have. I've done the poly before. Yeah. We've done it twice. I love the poly. Yeah, but I wanted to do the grand. It's been on my list for ages, and this has not put me off ever going back to the grand, because I think the way that they've dealt with it, the food that we had at the Grand Floridian, the service we had and the interaction with the cast and everyone there was incredible.
And I think that's a really good. That's a good point, Ben, in terms of the fact that actually they could have offered you a room somewhere else. They could have, but actually that sort of level of pixie dust isn't to be expected. You booked at the Grand Flow, so but what they did do was to create a solution of some sort that meant that you felt more satisfied, not 100%, but more satisfied with your visit. And I think that moving you, they would have probably just put somebody else in that room. Yeah. Which great for you, but the whole issue is that actually that environment isn't somewhere that you want to spend your holiday.
And it's also, think about the summer. I'm like, it's Disney's busiest time.
I presume because it's the summer and it's hot, they start construction early in the morning.
Yeah, and that was the problem with on our anniversary. We were in the Magic Kingdom until midnight. Yeah, and so we wanted to slightly lay in our anniversary, and it was like, so we were around the resort to about I don't know 9-10 before going for breakfast. So it was like we were there waking up early, and it was like construction as soon as we wake up.
Yeah.
But we had the most incredible solution, and I thank Disney and everyone at Grand Floridian for working hard to get and to let us know that it felt like it wasn't a fix. Because the thing is, even if at a point on our anniversary, we were checking out the day after, there was no point for them to move us to the poly for one night with all the bags, with everything we've got. It was like, no.
We had a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yes, we ordered a lot of stuff to the room for, we didn't do a Walmart trip. We did an Amazon order instead.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So we had that all delivered to the ground.
But they sorted you out and you were happy.
Yeah.
Very happy.
In the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
That's important.
That's great. And I think that's the best way to leave it there, because actually, if anyone does have any issue on a Disney holiday, go and speak to the people at the desk. If you're not happy, tell them you want to escalate it, because actually it's your holiday, and don't, I think as Brits, we very often get fobbed off and we just say, oh, well, it's okay. I'll write an email when I get home.
Which you won't do.
But that's not them. That's not them. Go and get it dealt with there and then. It does make a difference. It does make a difference. And yet you might feel really uncomfortable for about a minute, 2 minutes trying to explain it. And again, explain it to somebody else, but they take you seriously. And that's the thing. It does set Disney apart. When things go slightly awry, they will do their best to actually put it right so that you feel totally at ease with what's happening.
Also, it will make you feel better to get it out of your system.
Yeah, you won't overthink it and dwell on it while you're trying to have a good time, because you know you've spoken to someone and it's in someone else's hands.
You've done what you can.
So I think that's a really important
and then you go to the parks, you go and enjoy yourself.
Yeah. Don't let it spoil the holiday. Yeah.
We left the Grand Floridian, which I didn't want to do. Even though with all of that, we had the most incredible time there, and I would go back there in an instant. I'd happily go back there again. I would compare it with the costs versus other hotels.
Yeah.
But we then moved to Animal Kingdom Lodge, Jambo, where we have stayed in Kidani 3 times before.
Yeah,
I think 3 times before.
3 times. Can't remember.
So this time we wanted to try Jumbo, because every time I stayed at Kidani, the food felt like it was so far away from things like, so we're far away from Namara, especially for refilling these. And just, even though you could.
There is a refill station at Sanaa.
But I felt like you had more choice when you were at Mara for breakfast, and there was more options there. So we booked at Jambo, and we booked a standard view room, and it didn't feel standard at all. We had so many animals coming in our view from a balcony. It was incredible. We were there for 6 nights, and I'm just to think that it was so relaxing.
It was
just to be able to just wake up, just to have coffee, sit on the balcony, watch the giraffes, just walking around the savannah.
Yeah.
And
where our room was, it was in a little kind of block thing, and I think that's where one of the pens are, some of the animals, and it's definitely by one of the feeding areas for the giraffes, because they hang some treat branches. I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah,
just hang them on the trees.
And so obviously the giraffes would come over to that area
quite frequently
because that's where their treats were.
Yeah.
I have about 1,000 photos of giraffes just from those few days. But no, it was incredible. The room is Animal Kingdom themed. Everyone says, we've heard reviews over the past couple of years that, it's a bit outdated, it needs updating. Tired. But also, no, I think it's really good condition. The room we were in, I'm very impressed.
Part of me wonders if it's part of the theming, to be honest.
It's dark wood.
It's a dark wood. Yeah. It's a little bit more rustic.
It's not the contemporary. It's you're going to Animal Kingdom Lodge. That's the sort of feel you get. And the thing what I forgot every time that we went into Jambo was the lobby. I've forgotten how impressive it is. Every time we went to a park, come back and were greeted by that lobby, it was like, oh wow, this is incredible.
I must admit, Ben, because when we did the live show on our Wafflers Wednesday, and I was so mightily jealous, because as we did the show, there was a storm outside. The crack of thunder was heard here and there, but actually, when you walk in, and that is just the most beautiful sight. And if someone's listening and they haven't ever been there, go and check out the Wafflers Wednesday live from Animal Kingdom Lodge. But it is amazing, and it's that window at the very end that becomes so enticing when you've got just the smell, the sight, and it hits every sense as you walk in there. And as a building, it's just absolutely incredible to actually stay there. I've never stayed there.
You mentioned the smell. I want to say that's something we noticed this trip. The 50th is now over. all the resorts have got their unique smell back. They don't have the same
Excellent.
50th one. And we noticed that by going from resort to resort to resort. I've forgotten how great some of the smells are and how great some of the wax melts that we've got at home.
Not spending out more money on wax melts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, fab.
Yeah, being in a DVC room in Jambo is all on the same floor, so it's all on the 5th floor, unless you're club level, which is then on level 6. So you're always going to have a higher room.
Okay.
Which is something that we've always wanted in most of the resorts then. Anyway.
Animal Kingdom Lodge is quite nice because none of the rooms are on the ground floor.
Yeah, I think they start at level 2, don't they?
I want to say 3.
I thought Boma was level 1, and then Victoria Falls is level. Boma's ground. Victoria Falls is level 2, and then lobby is level 3.
Yep. And then
so they'll start at level 3.
Yeah.
So on the same rooms to lobby, and so you don't have a ground floor room no matter where you're staying in Animal Kingdom, which is really nice. It protects the animals a little bit, means that you're not going to be able to touch them, and then
looking at giraffes.
Yeah.
You're there eating your breakfast and giraffes are like, what are you having?
Eat your breakfast
But yeah, we spent a lot of time at the pool in Jambo. Very relaxing. There was a few hot tubs, which there's 2, one each side, which aren't.
I wasn't aware of. I thought there was only one.
But they're not next to the pool. There's a bit of a walk. They're quite secluded and away. Okay. So, and I think a lot of people don't know that there, because every time we walk past, there was like hardly anyone in them.
That's good.
So that was quite nice for afternoon relax.
So that, just talking about, Animal Kingdom Lodge is often given a bit of it is one of the, if you were to book rack rate, it's a cheaper resort because of location.
Cheaper deluxe, yeah.
Yeah. In terms of the fact that obviously the reason for that is because it's a little bit further away than some of the other resorts.
Yep.
Your opinion, Ben and Becca, is it worth it? Is it worth that extra 10 minutes on the bus to get there and stay there?
Yeah. I've always said, if you're going there, we've always moaned before about the transportation on the buses. This time it didn't feel too bad.
Okay.
But also make sure if you want to spend a little bit more to get to parts quicker, get an Uber. Hire a car. Yeah. There's that sort of thing. But also it didn't make hardly any difference. The only time I think we noticed it was coming late back when I was from Epcot.
Okay. That takes a long time anyway.
But yeah, it's one of those things. The best resort, I think, for transportation on the bus is Coronado Springs. Out of all of the resorts, because we managed to get from Hollywood Studios to Coronado Springs in like 5 minutes. There to Epcot.
Coronado. Shh, stop talking about it. Stop telling people how amazing it is, please.
So it's a huge resort.
Go and book it.
And the buses at Coronado obviously can get very busy.
Yeah.
Just stop. I don't want anyone to know.
We did have...
Keep it to yourself.
We did have a day where, what we decided to do on our moving day between resorts, we would relax by the pool in the morning, and then either resort hopping or shopping was the plan. That's what we'd do. Sometimes we'd move that to a day later, but it was just nice that we could have a rest and a non-park day.
Yeah.
And putting those into your trip made it so much more relaxing. Because it was the opposite to what we did in last June and December, where we were in the parks from open to close. This was so much nicer and more relaxing, but also we felt like we did everything as well. It's not like there isn't anything I don't think we missed. Yes, there's probably things that I'd love to have gone back and
There's probably a couple of bits that we didn't do.
Yeah.
But they're not.
But they'll come on the next trip as well. Yeah. I think for anyone listening who is either planning going for the first time, and that to me is there's like a cut-off line in your trips where you actually realise that I've been a few times. I wouldn't say it's one or two. I would say it's probably a little bit more than that, where you've done parks from early morning till closing. You've done everything else, and then you realise you get on the plane to come home, and you actually realise it's like we didn't really spend much time at the pool.
Yeah,
And you're just like, what happened there then? And because you get totally ensconced in the parks, and you start thinking, well, hang on a minute, how much time we spend in the hotel? Not a lot, because we're in the parks.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you then start to build into your plan is that whole thing about going and actually enjoying the resort that you're actually paying the money for.
Yeah.
And actually understanding that that is such a massive part of your holiday, so that you don't come back and you're shattered and you need 2 weeks out of work again to get over the 2 weeks that you spent in Florida. And I'm so pleased that you guys have actually found that, because for me it took a long time, but it was like a light bulb.
You know
what? I can never do it, John. Yeah. And you're talking about it.
Yeah.
I just don't. I think the only time we've done that is when we stayed at Old Key West and we were there for 2 weeks. Yeah. But that was when Millie was a baby and we had to.
You sort of have to take time out.
Even now, I don't think that we do that at all. And I just, I think we made
a deliberate attempt in the past couple of trips to do that.
I think it helps because we had
want to get the best value, don't you? You want to get the best.
I think it's because we had a split stay. We knew that we had to check up by 11 in the morning, and check-in wasn't till 4. We knew there was a few hours, and it was like, okay, we've done the parks the day before. I want to use the pool before we leave, so let's do that. And then it was like,
really good idea. Really good idea.
And sometimes actually doing a split stay by going to staying at 2 different resorts is a really good way of doing it, especially with the dining plan that's back next year. Because if you want to treat food as a way of doing it, so signature restaurants use the dining plan, so you're getting might fit your budget better to actually have that then. There's so many different ways you can do your trip, and it's just how different our trip is now to where it was 10 years ago, where on our first trip we bought the Orlando Ultimate ticket, where we had Busch Gardens, SeaWorld, literally everything.
Ram it all in.
We were staying off site and we only did Disney and Universal and one day at SeaWorld.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things that...
Interestingly, we've never been back to SeaWorld either.
No.
Yeah, let's gloss over that. My question to you... Moving swiftly on. My question to you, and I know we've covered this on previous podcasts, is when you are swapping between Disney resorts, you don't have to move your bags, do you?
No.
All the bags.
Phone up Bell Services in the morning, tell them how many bags you've got. Within half an hour, if that, they will come to your room, collect them. You tell them what resort it's going to. You say goodbye to your bags, and you'll see them that evening.
Get to your room. Phone up Bell Services.
That's amazing, isn't it? Your bags join you in your new resort. Fantastic.
It's nice. It's easy. It's simple. You don't have to
just enjoy your day and not worry about it.
You don't even have to take them down to Bell Services yourself. You can phone them. You can do.
Yeah.
If you want to.
You can ask them to come and collect them and pay the appropriate tip.
Yeah. That's brilliant. That is.
Yeah.
But again, that's part and parcel of staying at Disney, and actually, I actually think that you're already setting my mind off of accommodation possibilities for my next trip, and I'm just thinking, because we've always been just one place and just decided, okay, we'll go 5 nights there or 4 nights there, or the last one was 10 nights at the yacht club, and that was, to me, that was unbeatable. But you just become aware of just how much is out there and how many different resorts are out to go and explore, and
the thing is, you don't have to stay at these resorts. We built in a couple of resort hopping days. There was so much time we ate around the different resorts.
Yeah.
We had a day where we just went to, where did we go? We went to
Coronado Springs.
Yeah.
And then we did the 3 monorail
Then we did the monorail resorts. We got stuck on a bus, which was fun.
Oh, in the rain?
It was pouring down with rain.
Yeah, there was this...
And the barrier broke.
Oh.
I will feel really sorry for the bloke that had to come and fix it.
Yeah, we were on that bus for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. But it was, we had some incredible bus drivers that day. As in, like, there was one that just made me laugh because he dropped us off at Hollywood, because to get from where we were, and it was Animal Kingdom Lodge, to you can't go from resort to resort. You have to go through a park. And what we had to do is I think we left Animal Kingdom Lodge to go to Hollywood Studios, so we could go to Coronado Springs. But as soon as we got to Hollywood Studios, he says, "You're going to need your coats. I would drop you closer to the park, but there are a lot of palm trees in the way." And it was just like making so many jokes and so many different things of like, they were really good this year.
Yeah.
Not that they're not every year.
No,
to be
but
fair.
I felt like it was just a different. We even had one where we had a private bus ride.
Deliberately.
It was just.
Or was it
better.
the private bus ride because you've been badly behaved?
It was the private bus ride because we were the only ones waiting at the bus stop.
Oh,
And it was
only guests on the bus.
Right.
Only guests on the bus.
Did you sit in the back seat and told me you sat at the back?
No, we sat.
Oh,
This was
That's
right.
the first thing we got to. It was like 2 a.m. there.
back seat of the bus is the place to be.
But yeah.
Oh, fuck. So, overall, accommodation.
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Excellent. Even with the brand, I couldn't fault any time any of the rooms we stayed in. I just want to go spend more time at the Riviera. I don't think 2 nights was enough for us to give it. It was nice because we landed. We got there in what was like a monsoon. It was. We got to the airport. About 4:10. We were about 4:10. Got through immigration, everything at the hotel by 5:35.
That's good.
That's excellent.
So getting an Uber, just got there straight to the resort. Even with the bad weather as well. And it was just gave us enough time to check into the hotel, see our room, and just explore the hotel and grab some food.
That's really good.
I think as well, one of the things you just said there is so important for anyone who's want to plan another trip. Is that whole thing about being just that freedom to go and book what is right for you, and just it's that follow your dream moment, isn't it? I think that's you've set me off here, Ben, because actually I must admit Riviera is a place I want to go and check out. Yeah. Now, let it be known to everybody listening is the very fact that I think we did allude to it at the very start of the show, is occasionally in the midst of recording podcasts and things like that, we end up costing other people a lot of money, but also costing ourselves quite a bit as well, because the things that we end up talking about that either one of us has done and others haven't, or such as Riviera, there's things that we think, oh, that's worth exploring. Now, I'm going to cut across and change tack slightly, because we did a podcast not too long ago about tours and just how good some of the tours at Walt Disney World are. And we cost you a fortune. So, Claire,
we did.
Bit of a result there.
You're welcome, Disney. You're welcome,
unfortunately, yeah.
Checks in the post, isn't it, Bob Iger?
Right. I wish. Commission gladly accepted. But you guys actually went and did some tours this time that you've not done before.
We've never done. This is the first Disney tour that we've ever done. So we've never done any.
I actually didn't realise that. I thought you'd done other stuff.
No, we hadn't done any before. So we did Keys to the Kingdom, which was our very first ever one, and then we did the Wild Africa track.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go on then.
Let's start with the Keys to the Kingdom, and also let's try and keep it spoiler friendly, so we don't spoil it too much for other people. Because I'm just aware
because otherwise this would be a 5-hour show, I think.
Yeah,
it's a 5-hour tour, so
yeah. But what I would hate is for somebody to listen and to miss in a way that kind of you spend the 5 hours waiting for the big moment towards the end, and actually it is such a thrill to see parts of the park you've never been able to see before.
Well, it's a tour that I would recommend to anyone. Just be prepared. It's very emotional, and I didn't realise how emotional it would be.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. No, that's something that.
No, and I don't know whether that's a normal part of it, or if it's an us thing, or if it was just that our tour guide Judith she was incredible. Incredible, and just you could tell that she felt the emotion as well. It meant a lot to her.
I think if you're a Disney fan, and by that I mean not necessarily a roller coaster fan or a theme park fan, if you're a Disney fan and you respect and enjoy listening and talking about the journey to get to Walt Disney World, whether that and Disneyland and Walt and Roy's story, if that is part of your enjoyment of being in the parks, then that tour absolutely hits you in all the emotions. And
If
both
you're a
times
fan
I've
of
done
the
it,
Imagineering
I have
tour on
cried.
Disney Plus,
Yeah.
definitely go there.
Or you're the type of person deliberately goes to watch One Man's Dream at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
And
if you cry at One Man's Dream, you're lost.
And you're not there. You're not there for the aircon and a little snooze mid-afternoon.
Or to meet Sully. Let's face it.
Yeah. If you go for One Man's Dream and you get that the emotional attachment part there. Like I've said before, everybody who goes to Walt Disney World, you should be made to watch it because it sums up exactly what it is. If that appeals to you, like Claire's just said, this is a tour for you.
It's like a 5-hour One Man's Dream.
I think it is one of the best value tours, because I'm trying to think, when you think per hour, it's $114 plus tax, and we got it for $99. If you're a Disney Vacation Club or an annual pass holder, you get discount. So that's something to bear in mind.
Luggage as well.
It does.
Pack those bills,
which is
and a free bottle of water at the beginning.
Bottle of water.
Yeah, which you can refill.
And a nice little surprise as well.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's so many.
I forgot that.
Oh, it was so incredible. I just it was our first time in Magic Kingdom on the trip as well. So we hadn't explored the park as we normally would. So being able to walk with a group, walking down Main Street, for the first time that trip was just added to the emotion. And just, I don't want to spoil it, but there's so many things that just made the rest of our trip just look at things differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think
it changes your relationship with Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
It's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah.
When you've done that tour, it doesn't matter how many times you go to the Magic Kingdom afterwards, you will remember the things you've been told, and it changes your emotional relationship with it.
Yeah, it does.
I think one of the highlights of our tour was one of the country bears decided to, halfway through the tour, take charge.
Awesome.
So that was brilliant.
Wonderful.
You can't predict those things, and you don't know if you've got no idea what's going to happen when you're on those tours. And they have a set path and they have a set structure, but that set structure totally goes to pot when you encounter something spontaneous, like one of the country bears deciding to take over. And
what was really funny is he would only walk as far as Liberty Square with us.
Yes.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
He wouldn't walk into Liberty Square.
It was brilliant. It was, but I think something that I didn't know, and I think people might realise, is about the country bear jamboree being an e-ticket attraction on day one.
Yeah.
It was like, really?
I don't get me started. Who knew?
Those bears creep me out a little bit.
But do you know what? If you go, I actually love that building, and I love the theming of the Country Bear Jamboree, and like all the scratches on the floor and all of those things. It's so well themed.
Yeah.
And yes, there are things about it that are possibly outdated, distasteful, all of those things. But the theming is amazing.
Yeah.
You know, if you think about like the Grand Ole Opry, it's a musical and it's a cabaret. Yeah, it's bears, but you know.
And part of your 5 hours, you are taking on 2 attractions as well.
Yes.
So you get a different experience while you're doing those attractions. Then you're taken backstage.
Which attractions do you do? Because that's
it changes every time, doesn't it?
We did Jungle Cruise and Haunted Mansion.
That's cool.
No, that's that's pretty good. I'm not saying any more than that, but that's I'd be quite happy with that.
Oh, definitely.
But value for money,
definitely.
Yeah,
definitely value for money.
I would have to look at that again.
The other thing to also point out to people is actually you're given a headset, so as you walk in, the cast member is talking to you. So it's not one of those tours that you can tag along. You occasionally you see in museums museums in the UK, and people are tagging along thinking we'll listen to what's been going on here.
Yeah.
But actually you can't, because the actual experience itself is really it's all really personal to you. I actually feel it's one of those tours that you could go and do. You have to go and do it again on your next trip, and it would be different.
It is.
Yeah.
And you would see something else. You would get the same. You'd probably get the same tour. You would get a similar tour. You get the same spiel, but you would see something different.
Yeah.
And that's the bit that appeals to me. I want to go back. I want to take the kids to do it.
Yeah.
Because obviously you have to be over
16.
16, isn't it? And actually, when I was afforded the opportunity to do it, whilst my wife actually looked after the kids, which I feel as if I owe the three of them the opportunity to come and share it with me. So again, it is one of those things. It's bucket list stuff to do. I know loads of people listening to this. Fine well. I love the history of the parks. I love the history of the rides. I love the finer detail within Magic Kingdom, and it's all there. It's all explained to you. It's not a case of it being in a book. It's there right in front of your eyes. And I think, like you said, you never look at Magic Kingdom in the same way ever again.
It's how many times after that tour we decided to go to Magic Kingdom and find out this and look at that and just that's where this is, or that's where.
And remembering the things you were told and all the different, looking for the different.
Because there's so much information that you're given.
Yeah.
It's only at certain points later you go, oh, that's why.
I almost wish that they could give you like the option to buy a book at the end of the tour that's exclusive. It's a secret book that is only for people that have done Keys to the Kingdom, that's got all that stuff in it that you just heard, so that you can go back and relive it. And I think, John, you pointed out, it is a repeatable tour. I've done it twice, probably best part of 10 years in between them. Maybe I think it was 8 years apart, and two very different tour experiences. And they do run every half an hour, 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock, 9:30, most days. And depending on the time of the tour that you book, you get a different experience. You get to see different things. And so it is entirely repeatable. And I think your cast member who's your guide is dependent on their preference and their choice of, a bit like the Jungle Cruise where they pick the jokes they want to tell. You get
also depends probably what time of the year you're doing. You're going as well, because we were very lucky that we were able to see the preparation of things starting to get ready for Christmas.
Yeah.
So it's something that you're not going to see in January. It's
if you're over 16 and you like Disney history, I think it is such a great opportunity. 5 hours. It's a very good long tour, and I would do it again tomorrow in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I would.
We're just over $20 an hour. Not really going to complain.
It's not a lot.
No way. No.
But you did Wild Africa as well.
Yeah,
I know. That's
scaled new heights.
Literally.
And that's the one.
How'd you get on,
Becca? Yeah.
I did it.
Well done.
Yes.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes.
Except for the right. Try again a bit more convincingly.
You sound really convincing with that.
Yes.
Everything apart from walking across those rope bridges, I loved.
Yeah.
Well, I've got pictures and video of you smiling on those rope bridges.
Yeah. It was very pleasant.
That was just fear.
Thank God it's over. Smile.
How many rope bridges were there? Can you just
There's 2.
Okay, and are they high?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were higher than I thought.
That is the reason that I haven't booked it, because I just don't know if I could do it.
So you see them from the ground when you're going on the safari.
Yeah. You have the trucks go underneath you.
You know where the hippos and crocodiles are?
Yeah.
It's that rope bridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's incredible. First, before you get to the rope bridge, you're taken through the Gorilla Falls.
Mm-hmm.
Through that way, and that's the way they take you onto the backstage area.
Yeah.
And then you have the you go and see the hippos. We were lucky there's quite a lot of activity going on with the hippos. They were fighting. So
this is Disney. They were playing.
Yeah, and there was also they weren't
battling for dominance.
Yeah, they weren't interested in the food. They were trying to get to a point where they were going to feed them, but they were having a big argument, a big standoff. So it was incredible. And the thing is, you've got a harness, so you are attached, so you can get closer to the water, so you can get closer to the animals, but you're also safe and secure.
It felt very safe. So before they hook you up to all of the
stuff.
Yeah.
They do check your harness each time, each and every time. So they'll check you before you go and get up close to the hippos, before you go on to the rope bridges, and before you go up to the crocodiles.
Before the entire thing, you are weighed.
Yeah, I was going to say, do they weigh you? They must do.
Yeah,
they do.
They
to
weigh
make
you
sure
to make sure you've got the right gear, the
harness.
right.
Do you know
weight
what
as
though,
well.
Ben? The fact you were saying, you can get closer and you can makes me think, if you know that scene in Mission Impossible where Tom Cruise drops from the ceiling in a harness and like hangs above stuff. That's kind of with my brain as to what you were doing. It's like
you can get as close to the edge as you want to as well.
Yeah.
So if you want to stand a little bit further back,
okay,
then you can.
Okay.
Our cast members, Cheyenne and Erin, were incredible.
They were amazing.
They it was so much fun, from checking in, from getting all the gear, going through everything. But you learn so many new things.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Because I am envisaging the beginning of this tour like a weekly Weight Watchers or Slimming World meet.
No.
How? And I know that there's people listening who are going, I don't want to be weighed in front of people.
You don't even see the numbers.
They don't even tell you what you weigh.
You're taking on group
so
by
it's
group.
managed very
It's only by
discreetly.
family.
Oh, wow.
Fine.
Okay.
That's good, because that for me is like, it makes me think of that fast. Where is it, Little Britain with
it was Little Britain. Yeah,
that's in my brain.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
I was thinking that'd be the most horrific thing. You'd be like, I've only been here 2 days. I can't put on that much weight. I know Disney food, but
yeah.
I just
it's very discreet.
awful. Okay, so they manage.
They don't even tell you yourself.
You don't even see it. It's something that they see.
I just wanted to clarify that, because I'm sure
someone's going to go, I'm not going to do that.
Somebody listening is going, well, weigh me, absolutely not.
Yeah, then you go from, then you're into, then you get all the gear, they make sure everything's secure, and then
you get a little headset.
Okay.
Headset, so they can still talk to you all the way through. The rope bridge was interesting because one of the customers that goes ahead gets everything set up ready. It's checked several times a day, that it's safe. It's one of those things that the thing that I think would have made it safer, or feel safer, not make it safer, would have been for theming. The Imagineers have decided to remove a lot of the wooden slats.
There's netting underneath. Don't worry.
It's like Indiana Jones, effectively.
Yes. That is what I felt like. I just needed a hat.
There is netting underneath, and the netting is safe.
Do they play the music as you're trying to cross it?
Okay, I might have preferred that. It was silent.
It was so good.
It would be full of expletives if it was me.
I'm looking forward to watching back the video, because I did walk across.
Oh, wonderful!
I was more. I thought I was quite confident doing it to begin with. When I was on the rope bridge, this was higher than I thought.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, once I got halfway through, I thought, actually, I'm going to stop, because you can stop, you can look, you can see where the animals are while you're on the bridge, and you can take photos. But as long as the person behind you is at the same speed,
stop stopping.
Yeah.
So if you got to that point on the tour, and you couldn't do it, what would happen? Do you know? Did that happen to anyone?
I think no one was on the tour, but I think they will be able to take you back and take you to the point where after the rope bridges.
Okay, so they can take you backstage and find a way around. If you got there and you had a meltdown.
Yeah. So then I know from the middle bridge there is a set of stairs.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing if you managed the first one but couldn't do it anymore, they'd find your way around.
Right. There has to be a way around the Great Bridge. It can't be the only way across.
No.
I'm just wondering.
Yeah, we should have asked.
Having the netting underneath helped. I think it was just that psychological thing.
Yeah.
Because you know that if you put your foot through, you're not going to go. But also you've got the harness. They are holding you literally all the way, so you're never going to be able to drop at all.
Yeah.
But crocodiles can jump. Just saying.
I've got photos and videos of me walking across the bridge and one with its mouth open while I'm walking underneath.
Oh,
right?
Wonderful.
Just waiting for your leg to drop through that missing slat.
Here comes lunch.
I didn't see any of the hippos. I was too busy concentrating on putting one foot in front of the other and getting across the bridge.
Yeah.
There was a crocodile underneath the rope bridge that I was walking on. It's probably the one that was trying to eat Ben. And I had a nice chat with him as I was walking over.
Don't eat me.
I think I would have to sing to them, sing Never Smile at a Crocodile or something.
Yeah.
Did you actually feel? When you do behind the scenes at Living with the Land in Epcot, and you feel you have a moment in that where you actually feel as if you're completely on stage and you feel as if you're on show. Did you have that same feeling for this tour? Because actually that to me would be one of the really sort of quite surreal moments of watching the trucks going by,
After doing Keesler Kingdom and learning more about the things they do while on stage, off stage, and how they present themselves and all the signs and everything that is there, it made me feel the same when I was Wild Africa Trek. It's like every time a truck goes by, we were all waving at them and just felt like we were cast members. Yeah. It was just,
Really? Wow.
It felt special.
It felt good.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Oh, was it right? Yeah. Oh,
and
cool.
what was also really good about Wild Africa Trek was the food.
Oh, it was nice.
You get a special food menu that is done by Tusker House. So you get a nice tiffin full of really incredible food.
So there was a
chicken
hummus and pitta pot.
Mm-hmm.
There was olives
and
something else. I can't remember what it was. It was shrimp, chicken wrap, fruit salad, and a little oat bar.
Wow.
Yeah. And you can't get any of that food elsewhere. It's just.
I'm assuming it was vegetarian options.
Yes.
If you have any
allergies or
allergies,
there were different options.
They ask you at the beginning.
Yeah. How long is the tour?
3 hours.
3 hours.
Okay, so it's not particularly long, but they feed you anyway.
Oh, wow.
And it's $199 each.
Yeah, okay.
Do you think it's worth it?
It's slightly on the pricier side.
I think it helped with our discount, but I would happily do that again. It's the reason we've always wanted to do this tour, and we thought now was the best time to do it. And I felt like if we don't do it now, when will we do it?
Yeah.
We will be able to do it.
So it was like, okay, let's do it because you
never
don't know.
You don't know when you're going to be able to do it again, do you? You've got the time, you've got the money.
I think we all learned from 2020 that you never know what's around the corner, what's going to happen. When's your next trip? So it was like, okay, if you've got the opportunity to do it, we were out here for 15 days.
Yeah.
It's not like we had Universal booked or other stuff planned. It was like this full Disney trip. So we had time to do it. And it didn't feel like it ate into any of our park time. Yeah. It was also, it helped that we chose to do it on a very busy day in Animal Kingdom.
Excellent.
So it felt like instead of us moaning going about, it's busy, we were just enjoying. Because I think when as we were going on to the tour, it was an 85-minute wait for the safari.
It sounds like it's like pimp your safari experience.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. And then between food, or before food and between the rope bridges and food, you go through another sort of trek. And then you get onto a private safari. So getting a smaller vehicle and you're going around and they take photos of you with animals behind you. And it's like we saw wildebeests, giraffes, zebra, which was Domino.
We saw Domino.
We saw
Humphrey and Maya.
Yep, so you learn the names of the animals as well.
That's very cool.
But also Domino is the dad of one of
the two new
that have
just gone on to the savannah.
Zebra foals.
Yeah. And Humphrey is the youngest giraffe on the savannah.
Excellent.
2.
I think Humphrey is the giraffe that stood in front of our truck. I'm sure I remember that being said.
Quality moment.
It's like that difficult teenager age. He's just going to stand there.
And Maya's the giraffe that gave birth on the savannah a few years back.
Wow.
So you get
that was not planned.
You get lots of information.
Yeah.
You don't get on the safari.
It felt like we were part of what's that series on Disney Plus? The
Animal Kingdom.
That's
very cool.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
See, I want to do it. It's just the Great Bridge thing.
Yeah.
I would imagine
Claire, you'll manage it. Go on, you can do it.
You will
Becca can do it. So
maybe I'll make Anna do it with me in December.
Yeah.
Does Anna like heights?
It doesn't matter.
You're all right,
I would
Ben. They'll be passing the gym between the two.
We can go to Nomad Lounge afterwards.
I was going to say, you do get a bottle and to fill up with water. Maybe you can add something to it.
Water.
G&T, yeah.
I would also imagine that the information that you get is probably also determined by the animals that you actually see on the safari.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to get different information and a different experience each time. Because if we saw a lot of the giraffes, so a lot of the information we got was about the giraffes. If the wildebeest had been closer, or the zebras have been closer, they would have been the ones.
After 2 weeks, you still call them zebras.
Tomato,
zebra,
zebra.
Yeah, I would imagine they would have been the ones we've got the information about.
Okay.
So I'm now in the bit, right? So we covered accommodation, right? So you've now cost me a few quid on that one, right?
Perfect.
I apologise, I'm not sorry.
You've now cost me a few quid on tours as well, because that Wild Africa one sounds absolutely incredible.
It is, even with the heights.
I forgot to mention the 200 photos that you get included as well.
That's very cool.
So there's about 200 that I've downloaded from PhotoPass. So they just get you get given a PhotoPass card at the end. They go edit the photos. You get them a couple of days later. I will post some of them in the Waffler's Arms, and they are probably the best photos we've ever
That's
seen.
amazing.
Yeah, they're incredible.
So all that package for that tour, I know it's more expensive than Keys to the Kingdom, but actually what you're talking about, if you include the photos, include your lunch, exclusive lunch, that actually sounds a tour that's worthwhile. The
food is much better than what you get on Keys to the Kingdom.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but absolutely. Don't get me started on Magic Kingdom. I'm not going there. But speaking of food, you guys went with a plan, because
we did.
I think inspired by the amount of shows that we've done about different foodie places, but also with a real. I think you had a little bit of an inkling to go down. I think something we tried before, rather than going to the tried and tested places, of trying places that you've maybe missed before, you've not done before, or also the ones that you maybe decided it's about time we went there, or the ones that have just opened and you think, oh, we've missed them before. So go on, tell us about. Let's do food and drink, and then once you've done that, then we'll talk about lounges.
Yeah.
Okay.
4 character breakfasts is what we did.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chef Mickey's?
Oh no.
No.
No, we're not that silly. I apologise
to all of those Chef Mickey lovers out there.
Chef Mickey's doesn't sort of tick our box.
No.
But no, we did Topolino's Terrace, we did Garden Grill, we did
Tusker House, and Crystal Palace.
And
we rank them?
I think we have.
No, we
have different opinions.
Go on.
Okay. Topolino's.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there.
Is top.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Tusker House is second.
Yeah.
And Garden Grill is third. And
Crystal Palace
way at the bottom.
Oh, really? Big gap.
And there's a reason for that.
I would be happy not to return to Crystal Palace.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, because it's one of the few places that you can actually meet Piglet and Eel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got it booked in August.
I think may have been timing was on our part.
Okay.
But also we got there. The habit now of when you go to a Disney table service is you check in on the app. And then within a few minutes, maybe sometimes a little bit earlier than reservation, maybe a little bit after, you get seated. We were there on time, went through it. We didn't get seated till 10 minutes after our reservation.
Yeah.
But our reservation for breakfast was at 10:30. They stopped serving food about 11:15.
Okay,
so we had 5.
Came in that horrible period.
They were moving everything over.
And the problem is, by the time we got to there, my first plate was warm and my second plate was cold.
Yeah.
But also the second time I went up, there was no food.
Did you complain?
Yes.
And what happened?
We got spoken to a cast member. We got compensated one of our meals.
Okay.
We were told that someone else would contact us, but I think they never did. So
we're still waiting.
We were still waiting.
Yeah.
But I think it may have been because of that was the same day as our anniversary as well. So it was quite funny. Our server was called Karen, and she lived up to her name.
Wow.
I have to admit, I think every other character meal we went to was so much better. Whether it was the server, the food, just everything just ticked all the boxes. I think our choices of character meals that we would go back to again, Topolino's is number one. There is nothing I can fault. If anyone wants a decent character breakfast for a very good price of $42, when you think of the others, roughly $42, $45, I'd always go Topolino's. And it's probably the reason why it's the most difficult one to book.
Yeah. Character interaction's amazing. The food's brilliant.
Yeah, we were there on Donald's birthday, and it was.
He had his own birthday badge.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, quality.
And I have to say, we had probably one of the best servers of the trip at Tusker House. We have never been to Tusker House before, and honestly, thank you, Claire, for making sure we went.
I was going to say that's Claire's fault.
Yeah, I am so glad we went there. We had incredible service. The food was great. I love the food.
Food is so good. The banana bread, just saying.
Oh, yeah.
I remember why I'd put Garden Grill above Tusker. I remember why I'd swap my 2 and 3 around, and that was Mickey.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, you don't.
We had Mickey wave. No, he waved.
He waved and gave us a quick hug, and then walked past.
Oh,
okay. That's not
It was
good.
a bit.
I think he was trying to go to the bathroom.
Whereas Farmer Mickey was brilliant.
I love the costumes that the characters wear in Tusker House.
Yes.
I think the safari dress that Daisy wears is like the best, and I've always had incredible interaction with the characters in that place. You know, you can have so much fun with them, talking about safari and what they're doing and what animals they've seen, and we've had all sorts of great fun.
Daisy is not one of my favourite characters. I don't dislike Daisy, but she's not, she's not one of my
You've seen her eyelashes.
However, I always have amazing interaction with her.
She's incredible.
I'd say the same with Donald as well.
Yeah.
Everyone says, we'll go to Mickey, but Donald is one of the best.
No, Donald,
Mickey's bland. Donald's amazing.
Minnie's great. I have Minnie and Minnie as well.
Yeah. Those, I think, maybe this is a show to talk about in the future, is our favourite character meet and greets, not because of the process or the speed, but actually in terms of the character interaction and what they offer and what you can do. Because I think with character interaction, it's often what you bring to it that makes it different, rather than just standing there, it's time for a photo. Actually, you can have so much fun with them if you play around. And there are websites online you can look up and say, what should I say to Cinderella in order to get reaction? I remember Millie asking Cinderella about Bruno, the dog, and where he was and why he wasn't with her when she was about 4. And it was just adorable because Cinderella she talked about this story about how Bruno was very tired at the end of the day, so he was at home by the fire and everything. It's totally in character and absolutely believable. And I just think there are so many cool things you can get out of a character interaction. It's the more you put in, the more you get out. And I think maybe that'd be a cool story. Yeah. That'd be a cool show topic. Maybe
I've made a note of it, Claire. Yeah. I think
you put it on the list.
Talking of character interaction,
trail it now. Coming soon to the Mickey Waffle.
Talking of character interaction, going back to Crystal Palace. Yes, the food wasn't great. We had to wait hours for characters. It felt like it, and we kept being told characters were turning up and then they weren't.
We'd finished eating, we'd paid, and we were still waiting for Winnie the Pooh to come.
But we had the most incredible interaction with Piglet.
Oh,
it was the best one, and that was the positive that we said when I complained afterwards. Like the best thing was Piglet. All of that.
Can we just say, we did say to the manager, despite everything, can I just say, Piglet was amazing.
Yeah.
Because the whole conversation with her was a complaint. So let them know what they're doing well, as well as what they're doing not so well. And the amount of cast compliments I think we sent through this trip.
A lot more than normal. And I have to admit, it felt... Claire, I don't know whether you noticed on your last which I think on your last trip when you were in the parks was it in April?
Yeah, end of March, beginning of April.
Did you notice anything different from your previous one? Because I know when the change happened, when Bob Chapek left the company and Iger joined, and how some of the cast members felt a bit different. They felt there was a different morale in the parks. We noticed it from last June to this year.
I don't know if we did notice.
Wow.
I don't know if we did notice. I definitely sent more cast compliments. I think.
I felt there was a lot of more people, a lot of cast members that were trying to go that extra mile or just do things that they would normally do, but it felt like it was a bit more obvious this time.
We were a bit more interactive.
I think that despite all the challenges that Disney's seen over the last few years, I still think the cast members are probably the best in the business. And I'll be honest with you, I've never noticed a dip. Yeah. I've never seen that personally, and I know other people talk about it. I have never encountered a cast member who is difficult, miserable. I have a Disneyland Paris, but that's a whole other story. I don't think I've experienced a cast member who's not lived up to my expectations at any point, and has not portrayed that show that the company is desiring them to do. I'm probably the wrong person to ask.
I would say it was probably more for us. It felt a bit more rejuvenated, as in
it feels lively and excitable. Doesn't it?
It felt a little bit more happier to be there. Where I felt like sometimes, especially on our first trip after the pandemic, it felt like a lot of people going through emotions there. A little bit more.
Them all quite happy to hear all those British voices again. Though.
Yeah, that's true.
Did you have lots of cast members in earning their ears?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty much every single one.
So not only have you got new cast members who've got energy and they're excited to be there, you've got other cast members who are trying to show them how to do that. Yeah. So that I think that churn in terms of cast member cohort, and this time of year, May, June, early July is the time a college program is starting, and you do get an influx of cast members who are just happy to be there.
Yeah.
And that makes a difference. And I think that,
there was an awful lot of photographers. We said it on, I'm trying to remember, but I think it was at Magic Kingdom in the hub. There's this thing that is always a trash can at every 30 paces. Yeah. There's a photographs one at less than that around the hub because I think there's about 12 at one point.
That's fantastic.
And that was incredible.
No, that's worth knowing because actually, I think for a lot of us, when we go there, certainly the past few years, it's always been the case that you read so many things online where it's been negative, and to actually hear that positivity really coming back into the whole park experience is so good. Now, you guys actually went a little bit off kilter, because in the past, I actually think, Claire, it's our bad influence. It's kind of rubbing off on these two. But
do we have a plan for tonight?
I think you guys actually.
We need to go back talking about food.
You found the whole thing about food and lounges and drinks and things like that.
Did.
And it's just like
that's not my bad influence.
I'm trying to think. Okay, the lounges that we tried, we'd never even ventured into before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Enchanted Rose.
Nomad.
Yep.
Victoria Falls.
Yep.
Yeah.
Top of the World. We've been to before,
but not in its new format.
Oh, yeah.
What other lounges did we do?
Dahlia?
No, we revisited Steakhouse 71 Lounge.
Yeah.
Barcelona Lounge.
Three Bridges.
Oh, yeah, Three Bridges. Barcelona Lounge.
Yes.
Really nice breakfast.
Go there for breakfast. They do this.
They do coffee and pastries and stuff, don't they?
Yeah, they also do a breakfast wrap.
They do They do a plant-based one and one with chorizo and thing. But
funnily, I'm staying there in December.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know what the vegan one's like, vegetarian one, but the chorizo one is lovely.
Yeah,
who was your barman in the evening? Did you go in the evening?
No,
we went in the morning.
Oh.
So when we got stuck in the rainstorm, and it was like, but we did meet characters in.
We did.
In Coronado Springs.
Wow.
So they brought in, what was it?
Donald Goofy and Pluto.
Yeah.
Amazing.
All dressed in their 100th gear.
Great.
So
don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone about Coronado.
I mean, it might have been because it was raining.
Yeah, that's true.
Really badly outside and all the pools were closed.
But
so
lounge-wise, which was your favourite?
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Nomad.
Oh, there you go, Claire.
You know what? More than me being happy. I
did like the food at Enchanted Rose.
Yes. Yeah. Did you have the cheese plate?
No, we had
the fennel sausage
balls and the truffle fries.
Sausage balls.
Yeah.
Is that what you just said, Becca?
Stop.
Let me find what it was.
I don't think they were fennel.
I think that's what you said. I don't think that's what you meant.
I did that. That is what I said. Croquettes.
Okay.
That's with house-made fennel sausage.
Yeah, you are saying fennel sausage. Yeah. They weren't croquette shaped. They were ball shaped.
I just hope the chef had a comedy situation going on, and the way it is placed on the plate is how it should be. That's all I'm going to say.
That is what I will say. Is I didn't particularly like the drink that I chose from Enchanted Rose. I chose the lavender fog.
Oh no!
And it was a bit florally.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had the I had a cider, which I normally do, but I had the truffle with the truffle fries.
Truffle fries was the other thing.
Lovely.
But the guy on the table next to us asked me what I was drinking, so that would have been an A for you anyway. Told them he ordered it, decided he didn't like it, and ordered something else. Now, that's his choice.
I found it awkward. Why is it? It was. I'll have whatever she's having.
That's fine.
When Harry met Sally.
Yeah.
The thing is, you could give him a taste of yours and told him it tastes not very nice, or you could have saved him a load of money.
We laughed.
He would have ordered something else. Yeah,
you won't.
Yeah, I could imagine.
I was sitting there going, I'm not a huge fan of this, but I'm going to keep drinking it anyway because I'm British.
Because you're British.
That's exactly it. But I'm British. I wouldn't send stuff back.
Yeah,
especially a drink. So that's my fault.
I chose it. Yeah, it's not. It's not that it was been made badly. It's just not my choice. Was
see, I had the floral bitter beauty in Enchanted Rose. I may have had two of them. Just saying,
just two,
just the two, because I was on my way somewhere else afterwards. And I thought it was a really great cocktail. It was quite unique. I've not had anything like that before in terms of the mix of the elderflower, Campari, Aperol together, which is a bit weird, but then the lemony, zesty citrus flavour coming through. It was really, and obviously some gin in there. But I think
liked the atmosphere there.
The atmosphere.
Where did you sit?
It's a beautiful place.
In first room on the right.
Yeah,
that's where I sat with a lovely mural.
Yeah.
On the wall, and the balcony. It's actually a lovely space, and I think it's been well organised.
We didn't actually think we would get in because there was a party of 4 in front of us,
and there was another party
waiting for a table. Well, they were waiting for a table. We went up and said, "Do you have any room for a party of 2?" And he was like, "Yeah, follow me."
Oh,
yeah.
See, I would have preferred to sit at the bar in there. I think. That because they've got that lovely horseshoe shaped bar, and I think I would have preferred to sit at the bar, but I ended up at a table for 2 on my own next to a big group of people, which wasn't great. But I think it's a really lovely space actually, and it could be as intimate or as raucous as you want it to be. It's not predefined.
I wouldn't have called it my best lounge that we went to. I much preferred Nomad.
Okay.
And when you were in Nomad, where did you sit?
Outside.
In the comfy sofas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right at the end.
There's only one place.
The far corner.
Just,
I was happily have.
I think they also sat us there for a reason.
As well.
Because we had an issue with the app. We did the walk up. So we did the app. We went, okay, we'll walk up. It says an hour wait.
Minutes.
So we thought, okay, we'll go around Animal Kingdom, do what we were doing. An hour and a half had gone by. Nothing popped up on there. I got a notification saying, something's change your reservation, click on it, it disappeared from my app, but said still 60-minute wait. Went there, and it looked like that it hadn't worked. So we went there, and they said, like, "Oh, it looks like you're on here, but you've already been seated."
Clearly not.
Well, clearly, and so it was like, and then there was like,
Yeah.
there was they called a manager saying, like, "What's going on here?" And it didn't work for us.
Okay.
So they just sat us straight away.
Cool. Wow.
So
yeah.
Again, I feel as if I'm sort of going from here, there, and everywhere, because actually you've done that, but we talked about breakfasts for food. Where else did you eat as well? Because to me, this is going to inform so many of our future podcasts and future Wednesday shows, because you dined extensively. I think is the only way I can describe it.
We covered sort of all bases. We had quick service breakfasts as well. So when we were at Riviera, our first morning we were primo piatto for breakfast, which is the quick service.
Nice breakfast, actually, for quick service.
Yeah. Lovely food, and not too expensive either. You can mobile order, so if you want to, you can take it back to your room, sit and eat on the balcony, or you can sit there. And there's so many places to sit in Riviera that you can just have food and relax, and it felt a very relaxing resort. There's not much going on there. It is quite a small resort, so it doesn't feel like Coronado, where you could be at one end again all the way to the other. We mentioned the breakfast that we had at Barcelona Lounge, which was the chorizo wrap. That was incredible.
Grand Floridian Cafe, which is a staple. If people have listened to the show before, they'll know we absolutely love breakfast at Grand Floridian Cafe.
First time we've been ID'd at Grand Floridian Cafe, and we didn't even order alcohol. And
for breakfast?
Yes, we were ID'd because it was our anniversary trip.
Told you, Claire.
Are you old enough to buy bacon?
We're a bad influence.
Luckily, we had photos of our ID on our phones, and it was I think it was the cast member at Grand Floridian Cafe. She was new at that restaurant. She was incredible, but she wanted to give us some champagne.
It was copy some champagne.
Lovely.
So they need to check you're old enough.
So I want to check ID.
Take it.
I take it.
If you look young enough, take it.
Exactly. Exactly.
She's the only person that asked us for ID that wasn't on at all. So
right.
I always celebrate when I go to Target and they ask you for ID as a matter of course, irrespective of how old you are, and you're like, yes, I got asked for kids. I got asked for ID first time in years.
I'm just looking at the list.
But actually, she was brilliant. She went through the whole menu, what we couldn't order,
and it was different to what we've been told before. That they now offer everything that you want as a side as well, so you can look at other parts of the entrees and have the French toast as a side. You can have pancakes as a side. You can have lots of other bits to it, so you can actually make your own breakfast the way you want. So
we've got that booked in about 50 days.
And
ask for Morgan.
Yeah,
that's awkward.
Yeah.
She was brilliant.
Yeah,
slightly difficult.
Morgan.
Yeah,
that's slightly difficult.
But the biscuits they do in the morning are
eat those.
Yeah, amazing with the citrus butter.
Oh, good.
We even took some away.
We did.
They gave us a box.
Yeah, we had a couple left at the table. She brought us extra, so we finished the plate of what we had, and she went, like, "Would you like some more biscuits?" Yes.
It's in them suitcases, Claire. That's it. I was right. I was right after all.
That's why we needed 4 suitcases.
We did Stickhouse 71 breakfast as well.
Yeah.
Oh, we were joined by Robin and Jackie.
Awesome.
Oh, lovely.
Jackie for that one, which was great.
Eggs Benedict. Oh, that was lovely.
Breakfast potatoes.
They are great.
They're so good.
They're very nice.
Just think was Boma. We did.
Yeah, we did Boma.
Can't complain with Boma. Boma felt. I don't know. I'm not the greatest person with buffets. Sometimes I think
we got better value out of it than the people sitting next to us. They had one plate each and then left.
Yeah, we were in there from just after opening, and then a couple sat next to us. They were gone, and we were still going for the plate food. So
I've taught you well.
I can't remember. What else did we have for breakfast?
Okay, I've got the list.
Was there anything else? But was there anything else as well? Because I'm thinking as well. It's like not just breakfast, but is there other places that you went to for either lunch or evening meal?
Homecoming.
That really just sort of stand out more than any place. And
did you have some moonshine?
Just to have some list of places.
And it was so hot, we just needed air conditioning. When it was one of those days where
eating outside, we could have eaten outside and there wouldn't have been a bite. But it was so hot that it wasn't actually physically possible to be outside.
It was so hot. My sweat had sweat. It was like that. It was,
So, no,
you sweat from places you never thought possible.
Air conditioning place.
Yeah, and great food. We've been there before a couple of years ago. I've always loved Homecoming. You were a bit mixed last time. But this time, what did you think?
I enjoyed the food more than I did last time. I still think the portions are absolutely huge.
Oh, they're ridiculous.
Oh, they are. We could have shared one entree between us.
Yeah.
But then we got to try some cake as well. Yep. So it
apparently has pineapple in it.
Oh, it does.
Was it a hummingbird cake?
It was hummingbird cake.
I mean, I didn't know this. I don't really like pineapple.
No.
Cake was quite nice.
There you are. You don't even know it's there.
Yeah. It was lovely. It really was a good cake. We felt bad because we were full, and it was like our server was really great. And he says, I can't let you go. It's your 10th anniversary, so you've got to have this cake. So it's like, okay, I'm going to try and...
I wanted to let my food go down and eat so much storage.
It's as if you like cramming it in, Ben. You know that episode of the Vicar of Dibley and the Christmas dinner, so she's like trying to shove the sprouts.
It's like a third dinner. Yeah.
Like, I've got to eat it.
It is. But yeah, no, we did finish the cake and the ice cream. It was lovely.
It was the big dinner. We should talk about Citrico's.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you feel about Citrico's? We went there in March.
Yes. The food was brilliant.
I love the theming. Yeah. I like the restaurant. It was something that I hadn't looked into much before because I wanted it to surprise us.
Yeah.
Wasn't a huge fan of the truffle mac and cheese.
Okay.
Yeah.
But everything else on the menu.
Everything else was lovely.
How was the service?
Brilliant.
Yeah. I'm not going to complain, actually. I probably wouldn't say it was the best service we had all trip, but it felt good for what we had.
Worth the money?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
What did
I'm turning to John here.
There we go, Claire.
Because I'm really conflicted about Citrico's.
I loved it.
The steak was really nice. I'd go back for the steak.
Yeah, but
then would I try other places instead?
I'm trying to think. The reason why we booked Citrico's is because the California Grill menu has changed in 5 years to the prefix of what it was from what we had. Once we had 5 years ago, we were really impressed with. But now I'm not sure. I did like the steak. I think maybe we had another side to go with instead of the truffle mac and cheese because we didn't touch that and it wasn't great.
Okay.
But
I'm intrigued that you picked up on the service as well, Claire. And actually, I'll chip in with this because
I think service was probably 90%. I think there was just something I wasn't sure on, but I can't pin what it was.
We were last there, Ben, when the dining plan was there, and the minute the server heard that we were on the dining plan, that was it. We were just sort of
bottom of the pile.
Well, it was just like don't give us stuff about you for the rest of the night. And actually, she did herself a complete disservice because the food was good. And you would have tipped accordingly had she even pretended to have been interested. And she wasn't. And I was like, well, what a shame, because actually, the people in the kitchen are churning out really good food, and yet you're just thinking, well, we're down in plan, and we're not going to leave it. And we do tip. I've got to admit, I'm quite big on that. Irrespective of being called a tight person occasionally on this podcast, but I do tip, and I take great pride in doing that. And she really did the place down because of her attitude, because she thought that we were down in plan, we wouldn't leave it. And
I've got a funny story to tell you about Citrico's.
It's got a bit of remnants. Go on then. Go on.
Before I get to that, I want to talk. There's a Spot the Brit in shows that I'll talk about in a minute. But the chocolate torte dessert, incredible. Also, she did bring across more ice cream, which also had a chocolate in it, which is Happy Anniversary, which was
the
also
house staff were really nice. Though.
Yeah, I think the server was probably not as good as the front of house staff. Mm-hmm. That would have been if we could swap them around. That would have solved it. But Spot the Brit. What do you dress like when you're going to Citrico's? What would you turn up in?
Not pretty
dress
smart.
Or chinos and a shirt.
Okay,
chinos and a shirt for me.
Flip flops?
No. No.
Some shorts?
No.
Bring definitely in a Calvin Klein bag and a Victoria's Secret bag from the outlet.
You're shopping?
Oh no!
Oh, do you know what?
No, it made me laugh.
No, please.
I have to admit.
Do you know what?
Help yourself.
I'm going to assume they were all walk up and their room wasn't ready yet.
Yeah, I doesn't.
Okay.
No.
And this is the thing about Citrico's, because you do pay a price. It's not a cheap restaurant.
But it does also tell you on the website that there is a dress code.
You're right. And I think your point, Ben, is really valid, because for some signature restaurants, not all, but some, there is an expectation that when you book it, you are booking a different type of dining experience than you would get in Chicken Guy, for example. And that's part of the cost implication, is that you are going to experience something at a different point, a different level, a different end. And I think Citrico's, as you say, that I had a real issue with the previous decor and how appalling it was. There's no other word for it. I think that the image of Citrico's now is just stunning, and the nods to Mary Poppins and the secret, the little bits in the separate dining area that you can go and have a look at. I think the whole thing is beautiful. I've been there twice in the last 6-8 months. And both times, the first time I thought the service was excellent. The last time we went, I found it to be ever so slightly, just on the edge of being condescending.
Oh.
Which I personally cannot.
No, that winds me up. Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because we were British. There was a definite difference between our table and the table next to us, which wasn't a British table. Yeah. And the necessity to explain, I found difficult to stomach. And I don't think even perhaps the rest of my family even noticed, but I found it not okay. Yeah. The food was good. I had the sweet corn bisque to start with, and I thought that was fantastic. The apple rose dessert, which is amazing. It's got a frangipane base and ice cream, which I scrape to the side because I don't eat ice cream with hot things. I love it as a space. I think it's a beautiful restaurant. There's amazing views, and I think it's got a lot of atmosphere, which it didn't have before. Yeah. But the service, I think, is inconsistent, and that I think is a shame. My experiences.
I
would definitely go back and try again, but I wouldn't go back and book it for my next trip. I would wait and try somewhere else next trip.
Yeah. As I say, it doesn't have the views at the moment either.
Right, it's got
the construction is right outside the window. So to deal with that, they've closed all the blinds and curtains in both Citrico's and Grandford.
So you can't even see the fireworks in the distance. Yeah, which is a shame.
We walked down to the dock.
The dock.
Yeah.
Through all the construction to get to the dock.
I think it's maybe worth mentioning as well, because actually, if you go there, we did ask at the front desk if we could get a really nice seat to watch the fireworks, and they were very, very good with that. What I would say is I was actually disappointed, just with the fact that you feel completely so far away, and it doesn't matter what the fireworks show is. You are detached from that whole experience. I was kind of thinking, if we'd have booked the meal for a little earlier, and then actually got onto the monorail and then into Magic Kingdom, irrespective of what part of Main Street we were at, I think we probably would have enjoyed the fireworks a lot more at that point. It's just like you were thinking, okay, it's not quite the same.
It's nice when they offer firework viewing from restaurants.
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth it. I honestly think
of course not.
You're better
it's not
off
worth
to have
that restaurant just for that.
But California go early, and then go up and onto the observation deck with your receipt later. I think we saw Happily Ever After from 5 different locations.
Something like that.
So from
cool.
balcony, from the dock, from Top World Lounge, from the hub.
2 different places in the hub,
Main Street.
And from Big Thunder Mountain
and Big Thunder Mountain as well. So 6 different times we've saw Happily Ever After from different places. And every time it made me cry. Yeah. There was just something about Happily Ever After. I'm so glad it's back. And I don't know what they've done, but the fireworks are better than before. And I did have a panic attack while I was out there the first time we went to see Happily Ever After. And it's just, the hub can be absolutely manic. So it's
a lot.
It helped me not getting there as early and getting my spot, because everyone pushes past you, and that didn't help. But we saw Top World Lounge, and then also at the hub again when just half an hour before.
Your panic attack day was from Big Thunder Mountain.
Yeah, but we left the hub and we went straight to Big Thunder Mountain.
Let's go somewhere that's less busy.
And I've got a video of Big Thunder Mountain watching the fireworks.
Cool. That's good.
But it's actually a real hidden gem of Magic Kingdom, that, Ben. Is actually getting to the back of the park and actually seeing the fireworks from a completely different place. And you don't mind being in the queue for Big Thunder Mountain, because some of the firework views from it are absolutely amazing. And it's the only time I was happy to be front row Big Thunder Mountain, because you go slower around it. You get to look at the fireworks more. Yeah. Oh, wow. Wow. What a trip. I've got to say, I think we're at the very outset of this. I was thinking, well, we'll chat with Ben and Becca. This is something a bit different for us, because we don't like talking to each other. We like getting other people to talk and share their love of Disney in the mid-month show. But actually, you've done so many different things that, for anyone who listens to this, that you're going away like I am, and just thinking, I need to do that. Please keep, subscribe to the show if it's a podcast. Come and check out our YouTube channel, because Ben's already said he's going to put some of the whole videos up, which will be really good to see. But also, we're going to get so much information from your trip, coupled with Claire's upcoming trip. Yeah. That we retain that bit where we can actually give people who are listening that real up-to-date sort of update. Relevant. And I think that's so important. Particularly for me, it really, for me, it's such an important part to see how the parks are updating and how I maybe need to change my plans for my next trip based on some of the amazing things that you guys are doing. I've got to say that, I'm a year down the line from my darkest day of being in hospital. And I've got to say, it means so much to me of actually listening to what you guys have actually been able to go and do, because you're inspiring me for my next trip. And I've got to say a massive thank you, because a year down the line, it might not appear much to other people, but to me it does. And it's been a bit of an emotional one the past couple of weeks. So to actually be able to share a bit of Disney magic and just sort of be able to dip a toe into your whole holiday has been an absolute delight. And I actually thought we'd probably get about an hour out of the show.
And the rest.
I was going to say, we could carry on if you'd like, because
I know
we've only scratched the surface.
We have, and I'm just aware that, like I say, I'm aware that there's so much material for so much of what we do. For Wafflers Wednesday on YouTube, for what we do twice a month as a podcast. And I think that for me, it's reassuring, because after being able to be part of the show for what we've 4 years now,
Over 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
And we keep reinventing, keep doing, and hopefully for you guys listening at home, you get as much out of it as we do, because I think that's really important. And some of the feedback that you keep giving us, we love it. Come and join us in the Wafflers Arms on Facebook, because we just chat all the time. That's what we call the waffle. It might not mean much to that person at work who wonders why you're going to Disney again, but hey, it matters to us. So a massive, yeah, exactly.
And you'll have that person at work that goes, "What again?"
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and they go to Skegness.
Lins.
No offense to people who go to Skegness, because I live in a seaside resort on the east coast of the UK. So yeah, before we get the hate mail and things like that, just saying, like, but guys, we've only scratched the surface, and it's so brilliant, because that's the enjoyment, the excitement that everyone coming home misses when you get home. And the Disney blues kick in, and you're suddenly thinking, just book it. We're going again. And if anyone wants to stay up to date with everything that we're doing, where can they find us, Claire?
You can find us on all the socials at GB Mickey Waffle, at YouTube, Great British Mickey Waffle, and on our website, gbmickeywaffle.com. And that will direct you to everything, including how to support us by working with our partner companies, such as Attraction Tickets. If you want to book your tickets for your park tickets, or your not so scary Halloween party tickets, or even your hotel,
Paris.
Right, Disneyland Paris, or your hotels, you can get to Attraction Tickets via our website and help us out a little bit too. But yeah, gbmickeywaffle.com, that's the best place to go, and you'll find all of our podcasts on there as well.
And if you want a bit of help booking that next holiday from the UK, check out Portwood Travel, because they will do the planning for you. They will actually give you so much brilliant advice, and they will, and they'll probably even go that extra mile as well, because that's the type of people that they are.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a link on our website, and you'll find it also on our Facebook page as well.
Tell them that we sent you. I think that's the best way to describe it,
Yeah.
Right. But can I just say a huge thank you for everyone who listens. We really appreciate you joining us, because without you listening, we'd probably still do this.
I would still be talking.
I would still be chatting and stuff like that. But share the show with your friends, and actually, the only thing I would say at the end, if you've been to Florida, when you get the radio advert that sold you the car and stuff like that, and it goes really fast at the very end with all the small
terms and conditions.
Yeah, I'll just add the bit at the very end of this show, is the fact that if this show has cost you a heap load of dollars that you weren't really expecting, the Great British Mickey Waffle accepts no responsibility whatsoever, blah, 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 etc., etc.
We hope you have the most wonderful time.
Yeah. Tell us about
come and tell us about it, and share your pictures in the Waffler's Arms. It's even better. Yeah. And so I don't want, this is the type of show you don't want to end, but we're going to, because we're going to leave it with that last lingering thing. Come back and check us out in months to come. If you're listening to this show and it's like October, November, in whatever year, just keep listening, because I'm sure Ben and Becca are going to share every photo and every story of this trip again and again and again, because that's what Disney Holiday does. Yeah. So until next month, thank you so much for joining us, guys. This has been an absolute blast. It really has. And we'll end in the normal way. We will waffle on. Until next time. See you soon, guys.
Waffle on.